Right, so we are heading back into this Haste and Hustle event, and Gary Vee, I think, is probably speaking right now, for all I know.
And what I'm really concerned about is that we have lived, both in Canada and the US, with basically an 8 to 9 year macro, almost a decade of good economic growth. We just have. You know, obviously there was a crash in the US in 2008 or 9, but if you look at the data, we're probably on the tail end of economic growth.
Gary Vee and surviving the recession. So recently I went to Niagara Falls to the Haste and Hustle conference. I was invited to go. So there were some, great speakers there. Gary Vee and Casey Neistat. So, but one thing that caught my eye was that Gary Vee agrees with my recession hypothesis. And as you saw in that clip, which I probably put at the very beginning of this video, he's pretty much said we're at the tail end, or should be at the tail end, of this period of economic growth. So because Gary Vaynerchuk agreed with my recession hypothesis, I haven't really made a video about how to like save money during this recession, or to how to not get hit super hard by this recession. So anyways, I came up with a few things here. So the number one thing that you should do when the recession hits is it's so obvious. I know that others are going to be a little bit less obvious, but just cut out those stupid expenses. I mean, just don't eat out as much, don't eat high-end food, don't make any dumb purchases, like don't go out and buy a fucking purse or like designer purses or high-end clothing, and don't even buy clothing. I mean, unless you're changing your weight or your size, or you're a teenager growing or something, I mean, like, you don't need more clothes. I mean, I have clothes that I've worn that I had in high school that I still wear. I mean, I probably have had this shirt for like 4 years. Still fits fine, and it's perfect. Look, there's no rips or anything. Like, well, I don't understand why. That's one of the things that bothers me. Why people spend, hundreds of dollars on clothes every couple of months. I mean, I just think that's ridiculous, and that's a dumb expense just in general. So, anyways, just cut expenses during the recession, and if you do that, you'll probably be fine, to be honest. I mean, unless we see like a giant recession, like something like the Great Depression, where unemployment went to like 27 or 30% or something. But generally, when a recession hits, it's just like a 3 or 4% increase in unemployment, which is okay. It just means that you're most likely still going to have your job, but there's a very small chance that you might get fired or something, or laid off, just because of this recession. So anyways, so the second thing you can do, which is I've mentioned before in my other videos, is just invest in recession-proof companies. This can actually make you money, and made a lot of people money during the recession. So think about what companies you think would do better during a recession, in a way. So the example I use all the time, which I've said a billion times, is McDonald's. Because what happens when people get laid off and they don't want to spend as much money on high-end food at Whole Foods? They go and get a burger for $1 or $2. They start going to McDonald's. So as you can go back and look at the stock price of McDonald's in 2008, 2009. It went down like a couple percent versus 30 to 50% for most other companies. So just invest in a recession-proof companies. McDonald's. I don't know if Walmart is one, because they're so big and they're like a retail store. But if Walmart specifically was like a low-end grocery store, then I would invest in Walmart. But they're a giant retailer, so that's kind of tough. Just think of companies that sell stuff for really, really, really cheap compared to their competitors, and those are generally the companies you're gonna want to invest in when the recession hits. So for numbers 1 and 2, those are kind of things that you should do while the recession is killing the economy, like while it's going down. But once it hits the bottom or near the bottom, the best thing you can do, which you will get super rich off of, is, or you can if you're smart about it, is just invest a lot at the bottom of the recession in anything. So, on its way down, make sure to invest in the cheap companies that I just mentioned, like McDonald's, whatever, all the cheap retailers, all that stuff. And then, once you think it's at the bottom, just fucking throw all of your money into any company that you think is going to rebound well after the recession. Tech always does well after rebounding. All the retailers always bounce back up, all the food chain, all that. Everything just bounces back up after the recession. So invest at the bottom of the recession. Number 4 is one of the more important things you can do, just kind of in general, but specifically during the recession, is just don't rely on your employment status, and make sure you try to create multiple streams of income before the recession hits. So as I mentioned before, unemployment could go up anywhere between 3% to 30%, right? You could have a 1 in 3 chance of losing your job if we have a bad recession coming. It's probably not going to be that bad, but it might be. I don't really know. So don't fully rely on your employment income. So if you're making, I don't know, $40,000 a year from your employment from whatever, working at some retail job or some commission job or some research position at some company, then just make sure that you have at least like 10 grand or 15 grand of income coming from another source if you can. If it's from a side business, try to set one of those up soon, and it can it can kind of provide a buffer so that if you do get fired from your main job, you still have a little bit of income coming in that you could use to pay rent and buy food or something like that, right? But this is something that you should just be doing in general. I mean, having multiple streams of income is just a good thing to have in general. It's just like me, I think I think I've mentioned this before, in terms of main streams of income, like stuff that provides me, I just hit the camera, provides me like over 15 grand a year or more in income. I think I have 3 of those now. And then I have like 4 to 5 other ones that just provide, a few $100 here, a few $1,000 there kind of thing. So, yeah, so just don't rely on one source of income during the recession. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. Spread out those eggs, and hopefully you'll be fine. So number 5 is just another way of just cutting expenses that some people don't want to do or just don't think of. So I thought of it because, the cable or TV, the whole cable TV internet package, it can be like $150 a month or $100 a month or $120, or it could be $200 a month for some people. It could be $80. I don't know. But what you can do is just cut out the cable TV portion, which could be half of your entire monthly expense for TV, cable, and internet. So you could save yourself $100 a month and just go get fucking Netflix and binge watch all that stuff for $9.99 a month or whatever it is, $8.99. I don't even know. But yeah, so that's just a really simple consumer way to just save money. It could save you $100 a month, but just by doing that, which during a recession could be a lot. So the number 6 thing is something that, if you're an investor, is really, really important. And that's don't sell your assets during the recession. I mean, you can sell them right before, or you can sell them right after. But the worst way to lose money is during the recession, you sell your assets. And I know some people it's tough to do because sometimes people need money during the recession and they have some stocks and they just sell off those stocks. But try to make that a last resort. Try to sell stuff on eBay first. Try to sell your furniture or something. Stocks are something that you should just don't sell whatsoever during the recession because you're just losing money. Your money's just disappearing. So it's really simple. Just, don't sell your assets at all. All right, number 7 is really important if you are a homeowner specifically. So anyways, I'm just going to say this here. Fixed rate mortgages. Before the recession hits, try to make sure you have a fixed rate mortgage if you expect a housing bubble. Now, I don't even know if there's going to be a housing bubble. I just don't have enough information on that right now. We might have one in Toronto or Canada or Ontario right now, but variable rate mortgages are why so many people lost their homes in 2007, 2008, 2009. Because what happened was that all the mortgages began, defaulting and everyone's payments went up, and then all those mortgages started defaulting because they were all variable rate mortgages and subprime mortgages. But what happens, so by subprime I mean, and variable I mean the interest rate on your mortgage can spike at any time on a month-to-month basis. But if you have a fixed rate mortgage, then what happens is you keep the same interest rate, so you're not at risk for your payments dramatically increasing whatsoever. So in the next year or two, if there is some sort of real estate crisis coming, which I don't know if it's going to happen or not, it might be worth renegotiating your mortgage to a fixed rate mortgage, so that way you at least protect yourself if there is a housing bubble. Because I saw so many stories during the recession where people's payments on their houses would go up from $1,300 a month to $2,000 a month, almost doubled, because the interest rate spiked and they couldn't do anything about it, and then they lost their homes because they would have to double their income, right, if they wanted to pay off that mortgage. So just fixed rate mortgages, keep that in mind, people, very important. So lastly, number 8 is something that I like to call the 3-month rule. So what does that mean? Well, at any point in time, at any point in your life, you should have enough savings to live and pay off all your debts and pay off all your living expenses for at least 3 months. So if you were to get fired today, you should have at least 3 months in savings so that you can survive until you find a better job. Now, ideally, it should be more than 3 months. It should be 6 months, 12 months, whatever. But even if you have a 3 months worth of savings, you can also cut out your expenses to hopefully extend that to 5 or 6 months, right? So generally, just save up, just in case some employment crisis hits or something. Have at least 3 months savings until you can find another job somewhere. So anyways, I think that's going to wrap this video up. If you have any tips about how you would survive an incoming recession if it hits, which it probably will, then yeah, leave a comment and make sure to like and subscribe to this video or channel. Like this video, subscribe to this channel, and I'll see you beautiful people in the next video.